نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Respected dear viewers and listeners, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This program is presented by Adult Quranic Education Program. Today we shall try to read and understand meanings of certain verses from chapter number 2, starting from verse number 170. Verse number 170 of chapter 2, Al-Baqarah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ, when it is said to them, اتَّبِعُوا, you follow, مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ, the path, if you follow what Allah has sent, that's based on revelations. قَالُوا, out of ignorance and arrogance they say, بَلْ نَتَّبِعُوا, no, but we shall follow مَا أَلْفَيْنَا عَلَيْهِ آبَانَا, the path on which we found our forefathers. أَوَلَوْ كَانَ آبَاهُمْ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ شَيْئًا, even if their forefathers didn't understand, وَلَا يَهْتَدُونَ, or even if they were not rightly guided. وَمَثَلُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, and the parable of those who disbelieve is كَمَثَلِ الَّذِي, is like a person, yani echo, who shouts, بِمَا لَا يَسْمَعُ, that who can hear nothing, إِلَّا دُعَاءً وَنِدَاءً, except calls and cries. Sumun, they are deaf, bukmun, they are dumb, umyun, and they are blind. Fahum la yaqilun, they understand it not. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, oh those who have believed, that oh believers, kulu min tayyibat, eat of good and pure things. Ma razaqnakum, what we have provided you. Washkuru lillah, and simultaneously be grateful to Allah. In kuntum iyyahu ta'budun, if you want to worship Him alone, if you worship Him alone. Innama harama alaykum, He has declared unlawful for you al-maitata, the carrion, that's the dead animals, waddama, and blood, wallahma al-khinzir, and flesh of swine, wama uhila bihi lighayrillah, and that which is dedicated to anyone other than Allah the Almighty, other than God. فَمَنْ يَسْتُرَ غَيْرَ بَاغٍ, and one who is driven or who is forced by necessity, without willful, غَيْرَ بَاغٍ, without willful disobedience, وَلَا عَادٍ, or nor he would intends to cross the limits. فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ, there is no sin upon him. إِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ, surely Allah is all-forgiving, the most merciful. So these verses are also connected with the previous verses which we studied yesterday. When Quran said that, oh people, you eat out of things which were provided here in this world, on this earth, but what is lawful and what is good and pure. And it is in fact, don't follow the impulse of Satan. It is he, the devil, the Satan, who is your open enemy. He enjoins upon you, he commands you for what is evil and immoral and shameful, and to say what you do not know. And to such people who are turned blind followers, who have lost all the reasoning powers, and who have themselves turned after following Satan, they have themselves become almost devils. When it is said to them, ittabi'u, you follow ma anzalallah, what Allah has sent. What, through revelations, of course, through books and scriptures. That's now the Quran, what's sent by Allah through Quran. Qalu, they say, what's their argument? They have no argument. How can they disagree with these Quranic doctrines? How can they say this is not good? Because this is the best path. It asks us to be truthful, to be honest in our dealings, to love and be an embodiment of affection for one and all. And to eat and drink within limits, and eat what is good from any standard. So who can object to it? Who can say, no, I'm not going to, instead of truth, I'll follow path of falsehood. Instead of being honest, I'll try to be dishonest. It's not possible. But what's the argument left with such people who have turned blind towards this right path of bliss, that's path of Qur'an, path laid with Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, except when it is said to them, follow that which has been sent by Allah through revelation and through scripture and through the Quran. They say, no, we shall follow the path on which we found our forefathers. That means they're again blind followers, which we read just other day, on the day of judgment. Those who used to follow blindly in this world, their leaders and their devils still dissociate themselves from them. And how come we follow blindly our forefathers? This is also ignorance. Quran has beautiful argument. Are you going to follow your forefathers despite that if they have not understood the thing? Or they were not on the guidance? Are you going to still follow blindly the path of your forefathers? At least I have given you eyes to see, ears to listen, and your mind and brain to think and see and judge between right and wrong. How come you have turned into, as Quran, the next verse Quran talks, example of such people is, like cattle, like sheep and goat, flocks of sheep and goat who move around and only hear calls and cries of the shepherd, but don't know where they are being carried away. Quran says, example or parable of such people who blindly follow their forefathers, their ancestors, they are comparable, kamasal, like that flock of goat, sheep, who only hear the cries and calls of the shepherd and don't know where they are heading, whether they are being taken to a slaughterhouse to get slaughtered, or they are being carried some green pastures so that good food and grass is provided to them. If humans also behave the same way, then what's the difference between an animal and a human being? See the beauty of the statements of Quran. Second thing, which I feel we can understand that by a simple example. When such people are asked to follow what Allah has sent them, based on scriptures and revelation, they say, no, we shall follow our ancestors, our forefathers, and feeling that they are old is always gold, old is always right. I ask people, okay, we are also growing old, we have almost grown old, we too have our children, are we always right? Let us judge ourselves. Do we do everything that's right? And if our children also try to follow us, is it right course? If they blindly follow us, we know ourselves, we can make self-introspection. We do some good also, some bad also. We do something moral and sometimes even immoral practices. We do something, follow the path of truth. And sometimes we also fall prey to falsehood. We fall sometimes prey to satanic impulses. Are we perfectly okay? If we are not, how come our forefathers can be? Yes, I tell you, we can follow our forefathers, right? No problem in that. But even the thinking or the course our forefathers have adopted, that course is to be judged from the standard of Quran and Sunnah. If we feel, yes, they haven't followed this course, then following them is no problem, no sin at all. Not only that, it's not a sin, it is desired, it is recommended, yes, we should follow our forefathers. That means we are in the fact that we are not following them. We are following the standard set by the revelations sent to the prophets and more so to last prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And the criterion is revelation, not our forefathers. This is one of the ways which misleads common people. Quran condemns it, says this is not human-like, this is animal-like, as cattle, flocks of cattle, they move around but don't know where they are heading for. We are humans, we have to see, we have to judge, we have to take a decision. and see what's right and what's follow of what was right in them. Yes, it's an obligation upon us that we should follow the right course. And we should simultaneously see if there's any wrong committed with them, we have to keep ourselves off. But that's not standard for us to follow. This is the beautiful Quranic statements. And imagine, these are arguments, are presentations of 21st century from these words. Who can believe? Sometimes I close my eyes and start thinking, have these verses really been revealed 1400 years back? For not only this verse, every verse of Quran, you feel as if these verses are being revealed now for present day world, and more so for me and for my betterment, whether it is 20th century or 21st or even just 51st century, whatever centuries to come. This is the miraculous way of presentation of arguments and teachings of Quran. Always it will be fresh, and it will refresh the minds of the people, refresh the minds of the readers. See beauty. When it's said to them, follow what Allah sent down, qalu, out of ignorance or arrogance, they say, bal nattabi'u ma alfayna ala abana. No, we shall follow what our forefathers used to. Quran gives an argument. Awalaw kana abahum la yaqiluna shay'an. Even if your forefathers didn't understand anything, are you still going to follow them blindly? Wala yahtadun, or even if they were not guided. Are you going to follow their wrong path which they had adopted? Oh man, think, use your reasoning powers and then decide. Then Quran says, وَمَثَلُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, parable of such disbelievers who blindly follow their ancestors. كَمَثَلِ الَّذِي يَنِكُ بِمَا لَا يَسْمَعُ إِلَّا دُعَاءً وَنِدَاءً. Their parable is like a person who shouts. At what? At a flock of sheep or goats, who listen nothing but only whistles, only cries, and only calls and move on without knowing where they are heading for. This is animal life, not human life. That's what Quran says about these people who adopt this course blindly. They are summun, they are deaf, because they are not ready to listen what's right. They have closed their auditory system to listen what's right. Bukmun, they are dumb. They cannot speak the truth. Umyan, they are blind, because that's quite evident. They are following others blindly. That means they're not using their eyes, their vision, their auditory system, their mental capacities. They are bukmun umyan. They are blinds. Fahum la yaqilun, because they don't use their reason powers. They don't understand. Now, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O those who believe, kulu min tayyibat, eat of the good things, mimma razaqnakum, what we have provided you. The previous verse we read, Ya ayyuhan nas, that was addressed to whole humankind. Now this was addressed to believers. That means, oh believers, you are also part of this human society, global community. You are also humans. As humans, you are all humans. But since you have believed, you have taken the path of faith, you believe in revelation as the only source of guidance for humankind, you are the true believers. So you don't behave like those people, common people, who follow satanic impulses. Now you have to be well guarded against Satan and devil. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O those who believe, that O believers, kulu, you too eat. I have provided everything for you. You enjoy. There's nothing, no problem. Min tayyibat, pure, but pure and good things, and lawful things. Not to go eat like, as example, animals just now. And in eating habits, don't behave like animals. You may eat dirt, filth, good, bad, dirty, clean. A thing belongs to your own or belongs to anybody else. That's animal life. You eat, but good things, pure things, lawful things, what we have provided you. And as humans, washkuru lillah, be grateful to Allah for all this, what He has provided you. Because it is He who has created you, given you all the systems and everything, and simultaneously provide you everything around in this world to enjoy. Tayyibat also means tasty things. There's no problem as far as Islam is concerned to eat tasty things. Our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, loved to eat even mutton, loved to eat good things. And he advises to eat, as I told you, to abstain from eating. In Islam, it is a sin. There's no scope for that. Who deliberately abstain, simply feeling that by abstaining from eating, at a nearness of God, by hurting his own self, by curbing his genuine desires of eating and drinking, and stops eating till he dies in the state of hunger, go for marn birth, etc. That's not allowed in Islam. You can't eat, drink, but behave like a human being. Behave like a perfect believer. Distinguishing between right and wrong, between halal and haram, between good and bad, between clean and unclean and filthy. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kulu min tayyibat. Oh, true believers, eat all the good and best things, tasty things. Ma razaqnakum, what we provide to you. Washkurullah, and be grateful to Allah. In kuntum iyyahu ta'budun, if you worship him alone, and we should worship him alone. To worship alone, and we should offer our thanks and gratefulness for everything he has provided us. So according to this verse, everything in this world is lawful. But certain things have been declared unlawful, which come in the next verse. Innama harama alaykum. Surely he, that's Allah, he tells you eat, orders you, commands you, enjoins upon you, eat whatever is good around. But he has forbidden certain things. You have to be careful about that. Innama harama alaykumul maitata. In fact, he has declared forbidden for you. He has prescribed it for you. He has prohibited you not to eat. What? He has declared haram, unlawful to you. Haram is unlawful. He has declared unlawful to you. Al-maitata, a carrion, that is dead animal. Waddama, and blood, wallahmul khinzir, and flesh of swine, wama uhila bihi ligairillah, and anything which is dedicated to other than God. These are the four basic factors as far as haram is concerned, unlawful is concerned. So according to Quran, we have to remember this very important point. According to Quran, everything in this world is lawful for a Muslim, for a true believer. Everything around is lawful, except what few things have been declared unlawful, al-haram. Not other way around, that everything in this world is unlawful, except the things which have been declared lawful. That's not true. This is clear from Quran here also. Innama haram alaykum, just few things have been declared unlawful, otherwise everything is lawful. What is unlawful? Maitata, dead animal. What is dead? Dead animal which dies a death of its own, which is not slaughtered. About this maitata we have to remember. It is that dead animal which was lawful when it was alive. For example, sheep is lawful for us. Chicken is lawful for us. And other beef is lawful. Camel is lawful. Many more things are lawful. When they're alive and we still slaughter them. But if the lawful animal dies off, so that's maitata. Not by any dead animal, whether these are beasts, wild animals, dogs and beasts, eagles and kites and vultures, they die, they are haram for you. They are haram whether they are alive or dead. Maitata here means those animals which otherwise were lawful. But if they die of their own, if a sheep dies of its own, it was lawful, it becomes unlawful. A chicken dies due to some disease or some reasons, it becomes unlawful for you. Innama haram alaykum maitata, verily he has made unlawful for you only dead and carry on, and which dies of its own. Though there's one exception, because the Quran was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and he was the best explainer of Quran, and he made us understand all the things, given explanation, and those explanations, what we call hadith, those are also based on revelations he received, and the vision he got through those revelations, by which he explained, that is fish. Fish need not to be slaughtered. Otherwise, any animal which is lawful for a believer, that's to be slaughtered properly, so that all the blood is drained from its body. That makes it lawful. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, explained, there's an exception with fish. What the unlawful for you is blood, that's flowing blood. What does blood mean? Not blood, general blood, anybody, anything, or any animal. Imagine a beast, whether it is tiger, lion, or a bear, or a vulture, or a pig. They are haram, unlawful, whether they are alive or their whole body is unlawful. Forget about their blood. What does blood mean? Blood means blood of lawful animals. Sheep is lawful for you, but sheep's blood is not lawful for you. Chicken is lawful, but not blood. It's blood. Same with beef or camel, or whatever is around. We eat and drink. It's blood of those lawful animals. Dam means flowing blood. That's unlawful. Wallahm al-khinzir. And flesh of swine. Swine, that means pig, pork, has been declared unlawful for us believers. This is the verse. And this is repeated in 5th chapter of Quran, that's Al-Ma'idah, where details are given. That believers expect to slaughter a lawful animal. But if the lawful animal is strangulated, and he dies of strangulation, that becomes unlawful, because the animal is to be slaughtered properly with a sharp knife, and Allah's name is to be invoked. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and then accordingly that's to be slaughtered. If some animal, lawful animal, halal animal is strangulated, that becomes unlawful, haram. If a lawful animal is struck by a stone or a hammer on his head and he dies, it becomes unlawful. If a lawful animal falls from a height, it is in chapter Al-Ma'idah I'm quoting, and it dies of a fall, that becomes unlawful for you. Similarly, an animal, lawful animal, halal animal, if its head is chopped or its neck cut by sharp sword, it becomes unlawful. Then Quran says, lahm al-khinzir, and flesh of swine is unlawful. That's pork. That's unlawful for. Lahm means it's flesh or meat, but that doesn't mean its bones or its fats are lawful. Lahm means, because in the Arabic terminology, as explained by our worthy commentators, they say lahm includes shaham also, whereas shaham doesn't include lahm. I'll give an example. We go to a mutton shop and ask for a kg of mutton. When it is given to us, we buy it. There are some bones are there, a small or big bone, and a part of fat remains attached to it. So lahaman will ask for mutton, pure flesh, it includes. But imagine, if sometimes we need, for some purpose, we need only fat, which in Arabic called sham. We go to a meat seller that we need, please give it's a kg of fat, sheep fat or goat fat. And when he gives it by weight that fat is only fat, that doesn't include mutton or flesh. That's why Quran says when it is laham includes sham also. Sham means whether it is bones, it's fats or anything, every part of swine or that's pig, which we call pork in general language, is unlawful for a believer. He cannot eat it. That's unlawful, forbidden, due to certain reasons, both biological and moral. Biological, it has been proved. It contains this, pig has a worm inside, what we call Taenia solium, which is very dangerous for humans. It can transmit to humans once it is eaten, or it's more so bad for moral health, because whatever you eat, your eating or your food has effect on your morality also. The way it has effect on your growth and development, your organ formation, your tissue and cell formation. The same way, whatever you eat, it has effect on your moral dimensions also. And you know about pork, swine, about pigs, they're the most immoral animals. And once we see it, we don't need any explanation now. In Europe and America, it's being return freely. And we see the immoral practices, the permissiveness, the nakedness, the swinging, and different phenomena, homosexuality, lesbianism, everything. But exchanging wives in the parties between friends and or the participants and all that. That's result of one result is of the pork, because it has effect on the morality. We become immoral. Fourth part is that what is unlawful. But as I told you, Prophet peace be upon him explained Quran. When Lam al-Khinzir, the pork was declared unlawful. Pork. Prophet explained, yes, it includes also dogs. It includes beasts. It also includes kites, vultures, eagles. And those also are unlawful for human consumption, for a true believer. And what is dedicated to anyone other than Allah, because that's the basic factor. When we slaughter an animal, we have to say Bismillah, Allah Akbar, in the name of Allah, who is the greatest of all. That makes an animal lawful. If it's not lawful. So any animal where if at the time of slaughtering Allah's name is not invoked, that animal is not lawful for us. And number two, it's at the dimension of this part of the verse is any animal dedicated to other than Allah. We slaughter an animal and feel that I'm slaughtering it just to please some person, whether he may be a wali or a nabi or a saint or somebody, whether dead or alive. If any animal we feel, even if you have to remember, dedicating that animal to some saint, to some peer, so-called godfather, or even a wali, or even a prophet or a nabi. It becomes unlawful. Even if at the time of slaughter we recite Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, that cannot make it lawful. There are people, certain people they say, how can a lawful thing become unlawful? I say, why can't? They say, isn't sheep lawful? How come you say if an animal is dedicated to others? But it's Quran categorical, you see. And there's a logic behind it. Why can't a lawful thing become unlawful? Simply I tell you, for example, sheep, it is lawful. Can't it become unlawful? If we see somebody stealing, a thief or a robber, who takes away somebody's sheep and then slaughters it, says Bismillah, Allah Akbar, can you eat it? Don't you know this lawful thing has become unlawful? Paddy is lawful, but if somebody steals it and then feeds himself or feeds his family, doesn't it become haram? Though it was halal, just a minute earlier it was halal, but we have made it haram. Similarly, a thing dedicated to anyone other than Allah is unlawful, even if Allah's name is pronounced or invoked at the time of the slaughter. That cannot make it lawful. For manistura, but who out of dire necessity, who is caught in a situation where nustura has been described as when it becomes a matter of life and death for somebody. He doesn't have any unlawful things around, though this is a very rarest of the rare situation. Vegetation is lawful, every vegetable food is lawful, we can eat that, but Quran still leaves the scope for exceptional circumstances. But if a person is driven or forced by extreme necessity, wherein no lawful thing is available, and in such situation, gair bargain, he should not have any desire to eat unlawful thing, but he should feel it out of necessity. It's a matter of life and death for me. Out of that, not out of bargain, means out of desire. Wala adin, or not should he exceed the limit. That means if a person is dying, nothing to eatable available, except haram thing, he should not have desire, he should have some hate and hatred against it. But since he has nothing to eat, he eats out without desire and doesn't cross limits. He can eat to the extent which saves his life, not exceed even a gram or a milligram MG behind that. Not Fala Ismail, there is no sin upon him. No sin. Because in such circumstances, Quran says, Inna Allah Ghafur. Surely in such circumstances, Allah is all forgiving, He'll forgive. Rahim, and since He's most merciful, He'll forgive. صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم والحمد لله رب العالمين.